Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party. General Hawk, Colonel Weaver, and Colonel Malkovich remain standing for the playing of ruffles and flourishes, singing of the national anthem, and the invocation. Post the colors.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming? And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, said does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Forward. On.
Chaplain Jones, please come forward to deliver the invocation.
All right, thank you, Captain Hammond. It looks like they recruited the tall team today for the ceremony. All right, I invite you to pray with me. Heavenly Father, I thank you for the opportunity to gather with the Owl family for this special ceremony today. Gathering together like this is a privilege, and no doubt that after COVID-19, and hopefully a gathering like this will never be taken for granted again. You have graciously blessed us with life and health and strength each day and every day, and for that we give you thanks. May we properly appreciate those things that are so essential to life and yet so fragile. As beholden to you for the life you give, may we seek to love you and selflessly serve others. What an outstanding group of cyber warriors assembled before me this morning, ones that love their country and have devoted their life to protecting her. These are heroes. Which brings us to the momentous occasion today. Today, Colonel Weaver will relinquish command of the 616th Operations Center to Colonel Makrovich. I pray that you would guard and guide Colonel Weaver as he and his wife, Chrissy, and their children, Katie and Cody, as they fly even higher with the values and experiences added from this assignment and set their sights on those things that are ahead. Furthermore, may the spirit of grace, justice, care, concern, and dedication to duty be Colonel Makrovich's legacy with the men and women of the 616th OC and their supremely important families and loved ones. I pray that his sons Nathan and Tyler and Colonel Makrovich's wife, Michelle, would find a warm but not too warm Texas welcome waits for them. God, I pray that you would hold the 616th OC in your omnipotent hand and carry the Owls through the good times and through the difficult ones, so that our nation can continue to conquer and defend against old enemies and new challenges. I pray these things in my Savior's precious and holy name. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Jones. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. At this time, the 616th Operations Center would like to extend a special welcome to following family members and distinguished guests. Please welcome Colonel Makrovich's wife, Michelle, his children, Nathan and Tyler, and his parents, Stephen and Lynn Makrovich. Also, please welcome the following distinguished guests: Acting Principal Cyber Advisor and Chief Information Security Officer for the Department of the Air Force, Ms. Wanda Jones-Heath. Commander, 16th Air Force, Air Force's Cyber, and today's presiding official, Lieutenant General Timothy Hawk. Vice Commander, 16th Air Force, Air Force's Cyber, Major General David Gatica. Deputy Commander, 16th Air Force, Air Force's Cyber, Brigadier General Brad Pyburn. Strategic Military Advisor, Office of the Department of the Air Force, Principal Cyber Advisor, Colonel Adolf Rocco Rodriguez. Principal Assistant Deputy Commander, 16th Air Force, Air Force's Cyber, Mr. Robert Cole. Commander, 688 Cyber Wing, Colonel James Hewitt. And Command Chief, 16th Air Force, Air Force's Cyber, Chief Master Sergeant Kenneth Bruce. Once again, it's a great pleasure of mine to welcome you today to witness the change of command for the 616th Operations Center, where Colonel James F. Weaver will relinquish command to Colonel Justin P. Makrovich. General Hawk, sir, the floor is yours.
Awesome. Thanks, Chaplain Jones. I'm going to bring us back to the mean in terms of height. All right, everybody, really excited to be here today. First, would like to thank Ms. Jones-Heath. She has endured to get here today, and we really are appreciative of having you and Rocco as part of our team. Also, all of the 16th Air Force leadership, and I'd also like to have a special welcome to the families that are involved today. To Weave's family that will be able to watch us virtually. Chrissy, Katie, and Cody, thank you for your time and your support to Colonel Weaver as he's executed so expertly 616th Operations Center Commander. To the Makroviches, we're excited to meet you and welcome you into the 16th Air Force family. Michelle, Tyler, and Nathan. And then today to bring in from Ohio, Stephen and Lynn Makrovich, and with Brother Jason attending virtually. We're excited that you're able to experience this today. It's a significant milestone for the organization and, of course, for the Makrovich family. And we're excited today to recognize where we're headed as an organization and the critical role the 616th OC plays. To all the airmen of the 616th and Guardians today, both the airmen and Guardians that are with us today, excited to talk about what you have accomplished and the leadership role that you've taken within our enterprise. Thanks to all of the airmen that have been involved to be able to make this ceremony possible. We know there's a lot of work goes on behind the scenes, and want to thank all of you. You have been exceptional in terms of leading in an environment that none of us have experienced before. That when we went into COVID, we actually then started to ask even more of you from the idea that we still, as an Air Force, needed to run every network. We needed to be able to produce outcomes today. We need to be able to generate insights. And your team has been magnificent in terms of steadfast leadership in a period of change during a pandemic, thanks to all of the airmen of the 616th. So today I have 3 goals. First, we want to recognize the accomplishments of the 616th under the leadership of Colonel Weaver. Then we want to take some time to really talk about those accomplishments, because today is really about the airmen and guardians of the 616th OC. And it's an opportunity when we do a change of command to talk about those accomplishments, and it's really about the work that you have done. We want to spend some time on that. And then finally, we want to introduce a new commander today that will now be able to chart a course for an organization that's unique in our service and unique in terms of what the expectations are across the Joint Force. So first, what we really, today as we do the change of command, want to thank Colonel Weaver for his leadership. When we think back as to the transition from the time when we had 2 operations centers to 1, it was smooth, it was seamless. There's been no issues whatsoever in any part of that transition, and we want to thank Colonel Weaver to be able to work our way through it. Because what we told him initially was, we have a clear set of responsibilities to be able to do the command and control of our network, to be able to defend our network, and to be able to ensure we're able to generate the services that are required for all of our service to operate across the various classification levels that our service needs. And at the same time, we said we want you to transition, we want you to be thinking about information warfare, convergence, and we're going to reduce your manpower while you do it. So we gave him every one of those challenges, and the 616th has risen to that challenge to be able to now not only meet the requirements of what we need every day from a command and control perspective, but to also be able to generate information warfare outcomes, while keeping an eye on our ability to inform our air components in critical things that only we can do based off of our authorities and our capabilities. As we look through those challenges, the things that are pass-fail criteria, we have to be able to deliver the required services and defense of all of our Air Force networks. And in there, and you think about the last 2 years, and we go back through of what you all have done, we could list out every named operation, which for the families is anytime you hear something bad happen in cyberspace, across the national news, there is a corresponding activity that has now pulled a large portion of the 616th OC and our numbered Air Force into a daily response to multiple 4-stars about, have we patched that vulnerability? Are we vulnerable to that? And how do we ensure essential services? Every time that has happened, we have turned to the OC and said, where are we? What's the next step? Where are we at with the rest of our service? And the fact now that we can do that in a much more routine way has really been a major step forward for us as a numbered Air Force. The ability to now to create the first Information Warfare Ops Center. That is, when we gave, one of the roles that I have as a commander is to give intent. And I'm thankful that we have leaders that can take that broad intent and turn it into action. And we are now talking about the actions that the 616th OC is generating in terms of outcomes in the information warfare environment almost every single day with our leadership in multiple combatant commands, because airmen have been empowered to be able to transition from looking at intelligence to now being able to translate that into an outcome in the information environment. And working with partners across your interagency, thanks for your leadership, thanks for being able to empower them to do that. Things that now seem really far in the rearview mirror, but it really wasn't that long ago, which was the COVID response. And when our Air Force said in a single day in March of 2020, when the Secretary said, we are no longer going to travel, we're going to go on mass telework, and we went from 8 the ability to sustain 8,000 in our service to do telework, that the next day we needed about 325,000. The command and control for the 16th OC and the partnership with the 688 Cyberspace Wing and our teammates across the ACC were able to deliver. That does seem like a long time ago. It really wasn't, but that's been part of that journey of what we've gone through in terms of the growth of our organization in the 616th. You've also led through some other different initiatives, whether it's building the cross-functional teams for IW, building out a weapons and tactics shop, the creation of an AFIN dashboard for us that allows me to have situational awareness of vulnerabilities in our network and prioritize those, the transition of the 616th ACOMs, and the establishment of an electromagnetic spectrum operations cell. These are foundational pieces that will allow us to continue to grow in our ability to integrate and do what our air components and our service leadership needs us to do to deliver outcomes across information warfare for joint commanders. Hidden in here was another election, which for the family, I think you may be surprised at the role that we play in U.S. Cyber Command and as a component to U.S. Cyber Command to defend our electoral process. That is a core mission of the Department of Defense, and it's a critical mission of AFCyber. And the 616th OC team did an incredible job leading us through the election defense and that work. Areas that I wanted to touch on by the individual divisions, because really inside of each one of these divisions, the Airmen and Guardians have really been thoughtful about how to create an organization that was transforming and building partnerships with our staff. And that's an area we know we're going to have work that's going to be on Colonel Makrovich's plate, which will be we're learning how to be the only information warfare component that our Air Force has delivered. And now as we have the foundations of those core capabilities, the work that are going on in the divisions of the OC, really excited to see where it'll go next. But as we look at what the ISR division has done and the ACF team, to be able to now incorporate and partner with all of our wings, to be able to have a really good understanding of the information that we need as leaders in the organization to make decisions, and how that helps us be more effective in the intent we deliver, and also to understand what's happening in the information environment. And the build out of a publicly available information capability within the ACF is foundational to how we'll go forward as an information warfare organization. As we look at the strategy team and the ability to publish orders for all of our wings and to be able to ensure we're synchronized on common intent and common outcomes, and the ability to generate an integrated I/O plan for overall information operations, and the execution of over 7,000 information warfare missions that have occurred under Colonel Weaver's watch. Now thinking about how we integrate the EMS with our spectrum management, ISR, and the activities in the information environment, excited to see where that will go based off that foundation. And the ability to defend our cyber terrain. Combat Plans has also done some work that goes as really unsung across much of what the department recognizes, but our work to still make sure that we can do counter violent extremist operations, the ability to support the Afghanistan retrograde. A lot of that work has been based off the command and control of the 616th in close partnership with the 67th Wing and the capabilities they deliver. Our DCO working group and the partnership with J35, that is foundational to how we think about defense going forward, well done by the Combat Plans team. And then finally, how we have integrated through plans all of the program offices of the United States Air Force into our dialogue of how we buy down risk in cyberspace for each of the capabilities we're developing across our service. For combat ops, we certainly have asked a lot of the combat ops team in extremis when there have been cyber vulnerabilities identified. The largest supply chain attack that has occurred in our nation certainly created an emotional event for us, as well as each of the vulnerabilities that have been exposed since then. Combat ops has been able to drive through that and ensure we have unity of effort across our service. As we look forward, also one of the key things Combat Ops has done is to help us integrate into the Advanced Battle Management System. And those on-ramps helped synchronize our activities back with Air Combat Command. And then finally, I wanted to touch on 616th ACOMs and the transition that has occurred to enable the IT and the support for our weapon system and the ability to support the entire transformation as it consisted within the OC to now be looking at a much broader mission set. So the things that I think that you should walk away proudly with. One, that foundation that's been built, the culture of empowering those airmen and those guardians to be able to produce outcomes and now deliver capabilities, not just for air components and for General Noxoni as the commander of U.S. Cyber Command, but to make elements of our interagency successful in ways that's producing unique and novel outcomes. Should be extremely proud of that. The fact that we were able to sustain and conduct operations through COVID, that's a testament to leaders at every echelon, and the ability to take care of airmen and the ability to sustain our capabilities, really a great hallmark of the service of all of the leaders across the 616 OC, but the tone that you set during that. You're going to have an awesome time at Scott. It is an amazing mission in Air Mobility Command, and it certainly is one of the most unique intelligence positions to be able to talk about threat and understand what that looks like for an organization that operates globally. You are certainly going to be able to take your global perspective of the 616th OC and now be able to really do some really unique things for General Von Ovost and then later General Minahan on his arrival. So as we go forward, I think we're really excited to have the next great leader in the 616th OC. So for Colonel Justin Makrovich, his opportunity now, based off of his experience and the work that he's done throughout his career, starting as an academy graduate, being a career cyberspace officer working in both networks and in offensive and defensive cyberspace operations, he brings a skill set that will now allow us to take the foundation and be able to generate additional outcomes as we go forward. He also knows a lot about our network, having been the 26th NOS commander, having worked in the White House for White House Communications, and now having been just asked to integrate cyberspace operations on behalf of General Guillot at AFCENT. We know he's really well postured to help the 616th OC take the next step. We know what we're going to ask of all of you in the 616th OC. It's going to be it will certainly remain absolutely essential for everything that we do in the United States Air Force. Our ability to command and control forces in cyberspace, generate outcomes in the information environment, and produce unique insights is something that 16th Air Force is expected to do. You can't do that without effective command and control. And so for airmen and guardians of the 616th OC, when the United States Air Force changed its mission statement, it said, fly, fight, and win, air power anytime, anywhere. Air power does not happen without cyberspace operations. And you will ensure that we will be able to deliver the capabilities to our air components and then to be able to generate outcomes for COCOMs and for General Noxoni at the national level in ways that we're just excited to see where you take us. We're proud of the work that you've done. We're excited with the work that's going forward, and all of your leadership's behind you. Thanks for what you've done. Look forward to Colonel Makrovich's leadership. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, General Hawk. General Hawk will now present the Legion of Merit to Colonel Weaver. Colonel Weaver and General Hawk, please come General Center stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand.
Publish the order.
Attention to orders. Citation to accompany the award of the Legion of Merit to James F. Weaver. Colonel James F. Weaver distinguished himself by exceptionally meritorious conduct and the performance of outstanding service to the United States as Commander, 616th Operations Center, Headquarters 16th Air Force's Cyber, Joint Base San Antonio, Lackland, Texas, from 25 March 2019 to 15 July 2021. During this period, the exemplary ability and devotion to duty of Colonel Weaver were instrumental factors in furthering the security interests of the United States. Colonel Weaver was charged with shaping and integrating the missions of two functionally distinct numbered Air Force Operations Center into the stand-up of the Air Force's first Information Warfare Operations Center. His stalwart leadership was essential to guiding 450 civilians, enlisted officers, and contractors through the development and execution of the new Operations Center. The Operations Center maintained round-the-clock support to 9 combatant commands, 9 major commands, and the United States Space Force, and led the aggressive expansion of telework capabilities across the Department of the Air Force during the worst pandemic seen in the past 100 years. Additionally, the successful dawn of this new organization proved crucial to the planning and execution of Air Force's Cyber's significant role in operations designed to counter malign influence operations during the 2020 presidential elections. These operations played an integral role in securing the integrity of our nation's electoral process and will be the foundation for how foreign influence operations are defended in future electoral cycles. Furthermore, Colonel Weaver's leadership and boldness were key to the success of a 16th Air Force named operation. He formed a 30-member information warfare team and empowered the skillful fusion of signals, imagery, and human intelligence data to enable 31 Department of State demarches, successfully leading to the interdiction of 2 sanctioned actors. These efforts were lauded by the director of the National Security Agency and have benchmarked the future of the Air Force's information warfare operations. The superior initiative, outstanding leadership, and personal endeavor displayed by Colonel Weaver reflect great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Colonel Weaver, the floor is yours.
General Hawk, thank you for your, whoa, I think we got 2. I think that's awesome. General Hawk, thank you for your trust and confidence in me and standing up the 616, and then creating an OC that not only is conducting cyberspace C2, but growing into something much larger. I appreciate the opportunity. Ms. Jones-Heath, thank you for being here today. Major General Gatica, General Pyburn, and then commanders, directors, chiefs, thanks for being here today. It's awesome to see this large crowd again. As General Hawk alluded to, it's been a while since. I know you've done a few change of commands recently, sir, but it's nice to have us all gathered and be able to celebrate the accomplishments of the 616 and then welcome Mock into the OWL family. So just a couple thank yous up front. Thank you to everyone who helped make this possible. Lieutenant Anderson and Master Sergeant Gallardi, thank you for orchestrating all of this. Tech Sergeant Berg, great rendition of the national anthem. Captain Hammonds, Chaplain Jones, and the Honor Guard team. It's one of the things that I like to do when I leave command is I like to have as many OC or many of the unit members in the ceremony as possible, and I think we were down to only 1 non-OC member in the setup and everything and all the functions of this command. So thank you. And the protocol team, of course, awesome as always. Due to the timing of this ceremony, my family is unable to be here. They've already moved into our new house in Illinois. And my wife's getting ready to start her job, and my 2 kids are doing some summer classes to take the financial burden off of me as my daughter will graduate this December. But I'd be remiss if I didn't say a heartfelt thank you to Chrissy, my wife. She's been with me for 25 years. My kids, Katie and Cody, who've put up with a lot of deployments, a lot of time away from home, and I couldn't do it if they weren't 100% supportive of the path I've chosen. At the activation ceremony, General Hawk, on 16 March 2020, so a little over 16 months ago, General Hawk challenged us to develop new operational art. I had a clear direction that our cyberspace C2 could not be compromised. We had to continue with that and manage the network, but we had to develop new operational art for information warfare. And I'd like to reflect a little bit on that progress, but first, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the challenges that we face going forward in this effort. 16 March 2020 was our activation ceremony, and literally the day before, we made changes to the in-person attendance. I think we were only allowed to have 30 folks in the room. So we went into that I took command, and then literally a couple days later, we were in 50-50 manning. So I only had half of my force there at any one time, and I was even away a lot more than I would have liked to have been. So it took me until August to meet every member in the OC, and that was really, really devastating for us. And then one of the reasons that the imposed manning restrictions hit us so hard was that there were severe cultural challenges, not just challenges in merging the two domains, but really bringing cyberspace and intel operators together had its unique challenges. And we went from 2 single domain OCs to a now IW OC. And then we had to develop new processes for IW operations as well. And those cultural challenges can only be mitigated by constant messaging. In-face time is even more important in my mind. And General Hawk still receives questions in his 16th Air Force town halls about the integration, the culture, and all that. So it's extremely important as we move forward in forming something new. And additionally, as we merged the two NAFs, seating suddenly became a premium when we added no manpower. So between the OC and the ACOMs, we were spread across 4 different buildings on 2 different campuses, and it really made the integration piece difficult. But make no mistake, the OC thrived. We fought through it. And I'm going to brag a little bit, hit some of the same things that General Hawk talked about. There's many more accomplishments, but I see some of these as the bigger ones as we went forward. We successfully revamped AFN risk awareness by developing the dashboard General Hawk referred to that feeds the OC strat to task method. And we were able to increase scan currency by 18 days and help slash vulnerabilities by 15%. The OC successfully directed AFCyber's defensive operations focused on protecting the 2020 elections. The team worked across the enterprise to fuse cyber and intel threats across 4 lines of operation and ultimately defeated foreign maligned influence, and that was General Nakasone's #1 priority in 2020. Additionally, the OC directed AFCyber's response to a supply chain attack, successfully synchronizing 9 MAGCOMs, Headquarters Air Force, and tactical units to ensure that an advanced cyber actor was cleared from the AFN. Also, the 616 Electromagnetic Support Operations Cell is a major part of the 16th Air Force effort to link HAF, ACC, and the wings in developing the service MSO strategy. Additionally, the OC's JIC and NTI continue to support Bomber Task Force missions worldwide, enhancing threat awareness as they transit multiple COCOMs. The JIC also provided enhanced air domain awareness on behalf of USAFE during a recent crisis in the EUCOM theater, causing General Harigian to say that it's the best and most complete air picture he's seen since taking command. Another huge success was assuming the responsibility to task 16th Air Force Air National Guard cyber ISR units to ensure the right support was prioritized and directed to the right mission globally. And last but not least, we reflagged the 616 ACOMs, resubordinated them to the OC to maintain the weapon system and ensure downtime was minimal for the Air Force's only IW Ops Center. Now back to General Hawk's words from the 616 activation ceremony, where he charged us to develop new operational art. We've made huge steps forward in the development of new operational art and TTPs and continue to try to influence the development of doctrine at the grassroots level. First, we published the 616 OC chapter in the Air Operations Center 3-1 volume, which outlines the TTPs for how the OC will operate across all 4 key IW areas. Additionally, the OC is working diligently to ensure that these efforts are solidly integrated into training and hosted an initial qualification training planning team led by ACC. And these results are still pending, but the efforts will help fill in the training voids and enable our airmen to be even more successful in IW. However, one of the greatest successes of the OC, particularly in the past 6 months, has been line of operation OWL. For those of you who don't know about OWL, the actual focus and actions are classified. However, what I can tell you is the OC was able to focus on General Hawk's #1 priority by using TTPs developed by the SOF community in their efforts targeting the foreign fighter flow into Iraq and Afghanistan by targeting them at their source country. We have partnered with members of the 70th ISR Wing, NASIC, parts of the Intel community, State Department, Treasury, and our very own POLAD to enable diplomatic, financial, and informational actions against our #1 priority. Lieutenant General Hawk described the efforts of OWL as the embodiment of what we said with Convergence 6 to 9 months ago. The team continues to develop targets and options, and now the OC and the OWL team are the recognized leader on this target set, not only in the NAF or DoD, but but across the intelligence community. Along the ways, we tried to make convergence a reality, and we definitely had some false starts. But Al demonstrates the art of the possible and how the OC can be effective in convergence, especially when we don't care who gets the credit. In fact, we've established an IW cross-functional team with the lessons learned in Al to make sure we maintain these processes and develop new ones in our role in IW. Now on to many thank yous, and I apologize, this might be a little long. Especially to those who helped the OC become to the point where it is, so bear with me. I was lucky to have an amazing front office. You know, you never realize how key that is until you don't have a great front office. I had 4 execs over the last 16 months, partly due to COVID, partly due to PCSs. But Lieutenants Chapman, Francis, Graham, and Milo were outstanding. And then many thanks to the amazing executive team and CSS who helped us settle resources, manpower, personnel, and everything in between. Thank you for managing the chaos caused by external agencies and by me. Also, the OC started with some amazing division chiefs who kept an open mind and dove into IW, although some needed more convincing than others. Many thanks to Tate, Grissom, Schubert, Weisgerber, and Webb. Additionally, I was blessed to have an awesome first sergeant in chief, Master Sergeant Clemens. I'm not sure where you are over there. Many thanks to you for taking care of our airmen and for being an awesome first sergeant. I didn't hire you for this job, but I would without hesitation in the future for any job. Chief McCarty, not sure where you are. Thank you for coming to the OC. You had worked for me before, and you knew exactly what you were getting into. But I appreciate your sage advice on everything, but especially moving forward on our IW mission, helping to empower our personnel, and for elevating the morale of the entire unit. A quick thank you to an amazing civilian leader, John. Thank you for your sage advice. You always provided it at exactly the right time when I needed it, and you were spot on every time. Thanks for sticking around to help us build the OC. I appreciate you. And then lastly, Colonel Kroll, Crunch. I told you I was going to single you out in here. I wouldn't have survived if it wasn't for you. Thanks for teaching me all things cyber, even if you had to tell them to me over and over and over again. You are certainly the rock of the OC. And I don't know how long you and Katie are going to stick around on your Air Force journey, but it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the leadership team. In the end, new blood is good for an organization, and the time is right for a new commander. Mock, you're exactly the right guy to take the 616 OC into the future. I know you've written your vision for the OC, but the best advice I can give you is to encourage you to resist the notion or idea that we're just a bigger cyber OC, and keep driving towards a true information warfare ops center where convergence opportunity exists within our timeline. You need to look no further than now for a great start, but I know the OC is in great hands for the future. And lastly, to the men and women of the 616, it's been my honor to lead you in the formation of the Air Force's first Information Warfare Ops Center. Thank you for your talent, creativity, and seemingly endless energy in building a new organization. It's been my privilege to serve as AL1. Thank you for the opportunity. Now let's move on to the change of command.
Thank you, Colonel Weaver. The ceremony you're about to witness is one of the briefest, yet most significant of our military ceremonies. All authority and responsibility are vested in the hands of the commander, a chain unbroken to the commander-in-chief. No unit may ever be without a commander. So today, when Colonel Weaver relinquishes command, all authority and responsibility for the 616th Operations Center are immediately transferred to Colonel Markovich. The passing of the guidon culminates a series of significant achievements under Colonel Weaver's leadership, foresight, and guidance, and reflects great confidence in the continuance of those achievements to under the command of Colonel Markovich. Ladies and gentlemen, you will now observe the symbolic portion of the ceremony, the change of command. Please stand.
Publish the order.
Attention to orders. Department of the Air Force, Headquarters Air Combat Command, 16th Air Force Special Order G07. By order of the commander, Colonel James F. Weaver will relinquish command of the 616th Operations Center to Colonel Justin P. Makrovich, effective July 15th, 2021. Signed, Lieutenant General Timothy D. Hawk, Commander, 16th Air Force, Air Forces Cyber.
Officer Spencer. Sir, relinquish command.
Sir, I assume command.
Ladies and gentlemen, the commander of the 616th Operations Center, Colonel Justin P. Makrovich. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Colonel Makrovich will now receive his first salute as commander of the 616th Operations Center.
Present arms. Order arms.
Colonel Makrovich, the floor is yours for remarks.
Are you at ease? Relax. The formation looks great, so make sure you're bending those knees. We talked a lot about whether to have a formation or not, and it's so special for me, really for our excellent team to do this. I know I have a lot of family and friends who have never really been a part of a lot of the ceremonies that I got to see and do, so I know it's very special to them, and for me, I'm so incredibly proud to see a small part of our OC in formation today and just knock it out of the park. Huge thanks, Chaplain. Thank you for your kind words. Thank you, Sergeant Berg, for that great rendition of our national anthem, and really Lieutenant Anderson and then Master Sergeant Gallardi and the entire team for putting all this together. I know it's not easy, and I know even Michelle remarked when I took command a couple years ago of a squadron, she saw the difference today, and she said, "Wow, why wasn't it that easy then?" You know, and I said, "It's just that quality team that's here." So, you know, even my wife noticed how just awesome and fantastic you are. So, thank you very much. Ms. Jones-Heath and Colonel Rodriguez, it's so great to meet you. We are excited to host you at the unit tomorrow. General Hawk said what you went through this morning, so I guess big welcome to Texas. And thanks for being a part of the team, and not just visiting 16th Air Force, but coming to this ceremony. It speaks a lot and means a lot to me, so thank you very much. General Gatica, General Pyburn, I know Mr. Cole, as well as Chief Bruce, thank you for coming, and I am excited to have you as the senior leader team that I get to lean on and work with for the next couple of years with our ALs. So thank you very much. Colonel Hewitt, congratulations, number one, for taking over the 688th Wing. I know our units are going to be in lockstep, and again, to see you here speaks volumes, and I really appreciate the support, and thank you for coming today. Colonels, chiefs, commanders, welcome. Friends and family, most importantly, the men and women of the 616. Thank you and welcome to the change of command today. General Hawk, I have the whole side of card 2 for you. Thank you for officiating today. Most importantly, thank you for recognizing the 616 and Colonel Weaver. You said it exactly perfect. It's not about any individual, it's about the entire team, and you absolutely captured that. And Colonel Weaver's leadership the past couple years has been phenomenal. And I knew that from day one a couple days ago when I came into this unit. And then you throw on COVID on top of that, and it's even that much more impressive. And the only thing I really have to say, Weave, is better you than me. So thanks for all that you did, and thanks for leaving me with such a great team. General Hawk, thank you in advance for your leadership and your mentorship as I take command. I am humbled and I am honored to be a part of this unit. When I found out that I was selected, I think my dad kind of said it best. Are you sure? And I am a fan of the Ohio State. So, sir, I'll ask you again, are you sure? All right. So thank you, sir, for your leadership and your future mentorship, and thank you for the selection. This is going to be a great couple of years, and I'm really excited to get started. Last thing, Colonel Weaver, I think the fact that your family went ahead and you stayed behind speaks volumes of you and your leadership and how much this OC really cherished your leadership, because you led from the front. You didn't do anything that you didn't expect of yourself. I know how hard it is to move and that your family had to go ahead of you, but how important it is to see you here today and take that final salute. So I really appreciate it and thank you. Michelle, we made it. It's been tough. So Michelle and I haven't been married long, but she has already gone through a squadron command with me. She's already gone through school with me and me cursing all those awesome Air War College papers and procrastinating. She's gone through a year-long deployment with me. She's also gone through the worst move that I've had in 20-some years, had to coincide with her first military move. And it was something to be seen, and that's still ongoing. So thank you so much. I love you, and we are absolutely a great team. So thank you for being there for me. Boys, Nathan and Tyler, he's shaking his head no. Thank you so much. I am so proud of you. You two look great. You keep me motivated, and it's great to have you here this summer. To my mom and dad, thank you for always pushing me, and you always been there for me, and it's great that you're able to fly in for this ceremony as well. Finally, to all the friends and family that showed up, it's amazing after 20-some years, the people that you see and then you don't see for so long. I have two buddies here that I graduated with. I haven't seen in over 20 years, so it's great to see you guys. Can't wait to reconnect. You meet Air Force friends and family like the Stanleys, who I've cherished throughout years and years of our friendship. And then all the former coworkers that I've had over the couple years, they're here today. So I guess you're kind of still talking to me. So that's a good sign for the OC. And then finally, I even have high school friends who have shown up here today. So it's very special to me, and it's very special to us to be here. So thank you again. Finally, to the 616, most importantly, to the men and women of the 616. I will earn that guidon and this commander's badge every day. I can make you that promise right now. Over the past couple days, Colonel Weaver has been nice enough to start to give me some immersions into exactly what you do, and it is awe-inspiring. It is amazing, and it is huge. From personal experience, what I can tell you is that what I've seen you do from downrange, just coming back from there, and it is impressive. For those that don't know, what they've done and many things that I cannot talk about, they saved lives, they protected lives, and they absolutely destroyed our adversary. We were able to develop kinetic and non-kinetic strikes in combination using all of information warfare to get after the bad guys. We absolutely did it downrange, and we absolutely could not have done it with these fine men and women standing in front of us. So for that, please, a round of applause for the 616. Again, thank you for coming today. Thank you for the great reception in Texas. And let's get started. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Markovich. To the Markovich family, welcome to 16th Air Force and the 616th Operations Center team. The playing of the Air Force song signifies the conclusion of our ceremony. Please note that the Air Force song lyrics have recently changed. Atom Boys is now Atom Now. Song lyrics are located on the back of your program for reference. At the conclusion of the Air Force song, please remain in place until the official party and immediate family members have departed the area. Afterwards, we invite everyone to attend a reception honoring Colonel Markovich and his family. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand.